Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Rody John, and this week we talked to Thomas Bussey from Xtreme Knock Out. They are a local MMA company, and their next show is at Texas Live, Friday, April 7th. It is going to be such a fun show. We talk about everything from how they started in a warehouse off Mayfield to them hosting events at Texas Live and places like Billy Bob's and the Statler that is out in Dallas. So it's such a good, long, fun interview. We really kind of talk about everything Arlington. We go into pro wrestling, MMA, and we also talk about their ring announcer, Antonio, and his impact on their company as he's recovering from a motorcycle accident. This guy has been, as Thomas talks about, a friend of him over 20 years and with a company ever since the beginning, and he is the heart and soul of XKO. So, we'll put in the show links where you can donate for his GoFundMe, but everything is at Xtreme, that is with an X, Treme, knockout.com. You could buy tickets there to the next event. You could also, they have a link in there as well to donate for Antonio, and obviously we hope for his speedy recovery. Also on the show, we hear some local music from Said the People with their song Simple Mind. But first, here is Bella from Avon Park. Thomas Bussey with XKO. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing really good.
So the next XKO show is at Texas Live, Friday, April 7th. What can people look forward to on this card?
Well, our main event's title fight.
Yeah.
So it's something that we haven't, I don't know why we haven't. We haven't pushed it out. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to push it out pretty hard.
For sure.
But both these guys are, one's a UFC vet and the other one's fought under the UFC banner on the Contender Series twice. So just a talented fight card. But our biggest thing is to try to give people an entertaining night. So when they so we have the fight. There are a lot of local regional fighters. Mm-hmm. Some, they may know. Some they may not know. So our idea is just to try to do the best They're going to see the best matchups,
right?
And then have a good night at Texas Live. Texas Live's environment's just
it's
unmatched. It's like our Super Bowl of events,
right?
When we do ours at Texas Live's.
And you guys do it out of the backyard area.
In the backyard, yeah. So originally we talked about doing something inside, but believe it or not, with all those booths, they're not movable.
Yeah.
And it's smaller. It doesn't have the seating capacity.
Right.
So when they do big concerts at Texas Live or whatever, everything's in the Arlington backyard.
Right.
And we got it laid out so everybody's got pretty much a good
nice
visual of the cage.
Yeah. As much as it seems like inside would be better because you got the balcony, you got everything else on the floor. Like you said, those booths don't move. So where would you even put the cage?
Yeah, so we'll do the weigh-ins there on the stage on the inside, but yeah, on the outside, the backyard, you got the lower level and then you got the balcony level, just a bigger stage, so I can have a bigger presence when the fighters come out, and then beautiful view of the stadium, and you're kind of all right there, even though it's like technically it's outside, but it's covered on 3 sides. The roof's covered and then 2 sides are covered, so you feel like a outdoor indoor feeling.
Yeah,
it's like amazing. I love that.
For sure.
That environment.
I do too, because like I've even concerts and stuff, like the sound there's not really a room for it to escape. It can still kind of bounce off, make it feel bigger, feel louder, and that's so much better for. Well, it can be also not good for fighters because I imagine some of them probably get in their head if they haven't been to a crowd like that big.
Yeah.
And you guys pull in some big crowds.
We do, and a lot of fighters, they come out there and don't know what to expect if they've never been to the venue, and there's so many people there. One of the most exciting moments that I've ever had at Texas Live was when our first or second show over there. We had the ticket booth like around, it's about like, I don't know, it's probably 100 yards out from the Arlington backyard, and I was out at the ticket booths because the lines would go. We'd just wrap the lines around the building on the outside, and then they would go in, and somebody got knocked out. And I hear just this roar in this like stadium. Have you ever been to like a baseball game where someone hits a home run, and if you're not sitting at your seat but you're in the concession area, you just hear the crowd like that. And I knew right then, I was like, all right, we got something with Texas Live. And I just hear the crowd roar, and I felt like I was walking up to a big stadium, and it was cool. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, which is great. So we were just talking about it. The first show I ever went to was back at, I guess, the gym, which was off Mayfield and Cooper area, which is this big warehouse.
Warehouse,
yeah. And so Jason David Frank, R.I.P. Some people might know him as the White Ranger, Green Ranger. He was Red Ranger at some point, Power Ranger. He has an amazing martial arts background, and then after being in the Power Rangers, he became a MMA fighter, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And so I happened to interview him on my old Tap or Snap show that I did, and then we went to go see him fight there, and I was like, "Oh, this is insane," because I'd been to UFC, like a live UFC fight before, and I was like, "Of course, that's gigantic."
Yeah.
And then I went to this one, and I was like, "Okay, I can really get into this." And then the next one I went to see you guys was over at Billy Bob's. Okay. Our stylist we have the same stylist.
Yeah.
And I was sitting with him, and I was like, holy shit. Because I hadn't seen y'all obviously in years by that point, and you guys had just grown like crazy by that point.
Yeah.
And now you guys you kind of bounce back and forth between Texas Live and the Statler out in Dallas. How did the evolution kind of happen that way? Because we were also talking about you have some of your posters of the shows, and you guys have done over 60 events by this point.
Yeah.
I guess take us through, like, what would that evolution like for you guys to be like, okay, well, we're too big for this now, and then go to the next level, and then the next level, and so how did all that happen?
Kind of like, we grew up in the gym business.
Yeah.
Our dad started the gym, and so we grew up wrestling, boxing. He was a police officer for a long time, and then was always in the martial arts, and they were involved with the early UFCs back in the day.
Okay.
And so we had the gym business. At some point, we started doing wrestling shows, and then we always wanted to do professional fights, like combative sports. When we started, it wasn't really like when we XKO, we did our first ones. The rules were still, it was just early into the sport.
Right.
But we had the gym. We started running fights. The fights started taking off.
Yeah.
And it's when we sold the gym was when we really were able to focus on the fights, and that's how we got it the next step. I was a fan. Our first show outside the gym was, I did some at the Europa Fitness Expo.
Okay, yeah.
I did some shows out there, and then I did Gas Monkey was the first show that we did outside the gym.
Which I believe is Amp Live now or something like that.
So they had two. They had Gas Monkey Live, which is a concert venue, and then they had Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, which is now Amplified Live. And Gas Monkey Live closed in the pandemic.
That's right.
So, but I was a fan of Gas Monkey, this TV show, Fast and Loud.
Oh, yeah.
I was a fan of it, and I wanted to do shows that I was like, I was like, I want to meet those guys, and I want to do a show over there. And we, we had just sold the gym, and we're transitioning to do fights full time, and we locked a deal in with Gas Monkey, and just it took off from there. And of course, we wanted to try to, do multiple venues.
Oh, of course.
And so we did Gas Monkey, and we and then signed a big deal with Texas Live, which is big event.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
So we've been with them for 2018, I think.
Wow.
And then Billy Bob's, and I'd love to still work with Billy Bob's.
Right.
Go back over there.
Just the history in that place.
It's amazing. Yeah, and they're amazing people. I love Marty and his staff at Billy Bob's. Yeah. And we did a few shows over there, and then we just kind of been going back and forth. I need to reach out to him too, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
they're good.
The list,
yeah, but it's amazing, and so we just started, building it up, and here's where we're at today.
Right.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to Billy Bob's, it's deceptively big. You imagine it's still big, but you get inside and you're starting to walk around, where did I even come in? It's so massive.
It goes to, they have a smaller dance floor area with smaller bands, and then you go down, down a little bit, and then you got the bigger bands. And, they're amazing. Of course, we did shows, this is right after the pandemic stuff. And so there was still a lot of social distancing, and there was still it wasn't I don't feel like Billy Bob's had a fair shot of seeing what we can really bring to the table.
Right.
Because I was under all the guidelines and social distancing, and the technical zone had to be a crazy 20 feet, and we're all stuck. And so all that. So I didn't really give to bring Billy what we have to the table, on our other events. But I'll reach out to them, and then I'll reach out to them and see about doing something in the future.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be awesome, because you guys have been kind of, because I knew you guys, again, back in the PCW, your old wrestling company days.
Yeah.
And so you guys had this, connection with Arlington and the Tarrant County area for so long. When I heard you guys were doing stuff out in Dallas, too, I was like, well, that's cool, because Dallas, obviously, everybody knows where Dallas is. And when you tell people outside of the state, oh, I'm from Fort Worth, or I'm from Arlington, they're like, where's that? And you're like, it's over by Dallas.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, Dallas. Yeah.
I know where Dallas is.
Yeah. Well, it was like the XFL, the first go around there, the second, the 2020, it's the Dallas Renegades. I was like, they're in Arlington.
Yeah.
I was like, they're, if they show the Cowboys games and stuff, they're like, Dallas, Texas. I'm like, that's Arlington.
Yeah. Good luck going to Dallas trying to find a Cowboys game.
Yeah. And I get it.
Yeah, I get it too.
But Arlington, Jim Ross, I think, has done an amazing job with the city. The city's changed so much.
Big time.
Real, if you haven't been there for a few years, and then you go into some of these areas, you're like, this is amazing.
Where did this come from?
Yeah. It was just some really good things popping up, and that whole Texas Live. I don't know what area you'd call that.
I think they call it the entertainment district.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Because you got three massive stadiums there. So
This is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't tear down the other one. I was like,
well,
this is cool.
The city, the citizens alone were like, yeah, no, you're not tearing this thing down at all.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, no, we weren't going to tear it down. And we're just going to redo everything inside of it. So now it's kind of a football, soccer, rugby matchup, which is so crazy, because I used to work there on the grounds crew for the Rangers. Okay. And I go in there now, and I still know the guy that runs the grounds crew there, and I'm still blown away. I'm like, how is this a football field? What? It doesn't make sense to me.
People try to figure it out. So if you've been to the Rangers Stadium before, at a baseball game, and I'm like trying to explain them. Okay, here's how they laid the football. Yeah. It's parallel with first base line and stuff, and it honestly turned out pretty good. I've been to the last couple events, or the last two XFL games, and have a blast.
Yeah.
And with the Rangers Stadium, it wasn't like a bad seat. I get it
No.
if it's hot and like everybody was complaining about how hot it was.
Yeah, you want to be in the shade,
but like
you figure it
in
out.
the shade. But other than the seats are a little bit farther back but
Yeah.
it works great.
Yeah.
I think it works great, but it just gives everybody another opportunity to do something else. You know, whether it's I've never been to a soccer game or anything there, but like the XFL stuff's a lot of fun.
Right.
It seems to work for that, you know, but it's cool. And I went to the new stadium just once. That's cool.
It's we went there. Well, 2020 they did the World Series in Arlington.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll go to at least one game so that way I can say I've been in the new stadium. I like it.
Yeah.
I just have minor issues when it comes to left field. We're having the Carbach thing, and they're out of Houston. But it's a big beer money thing that I can't control.
Yeah.
I just wish they would spotlight all the breweries in the Metroplex.
Yep.
Then considering there's 80 of them.
There's so many.
Yeah.
You know, but
it's big beer money. I get it, whatever. But it just, to me, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's beautiful. There's a lot of great artwork, murals inside of it. They really do showcase what the old stadium was and the putting it inside and with the dome. And I think it's great. I liked it.
I do too. I think, I my experience there was amazing. And fortunately, I got a good spot. One of the field level suites.
Oh,
right
nice.
behind home plate. And it was the game that it was like last year or the year before last, where the Yankees pitched a no hitter.
Oh yeah.
I was at that game. I was like, why is this game going by so fast? And why haven't the Rangers scored? And then I look up and I was like, you were enjoying the game and stuff, but when you're that close, I've never been to, but maybe behind home plate or something like that at the old stadium. But when you're that close and you're just soaking up the new stadium and just being in the environment, the game goes by quick.
Yeah.
And that one went by real quick because the Rangers couldn't they couldn't get a hit. They lost. It was no hitter, I forget, but it was memorable.
Yeah. I haven't been there when they've done other events, so I'll actually be going tomorrow as recording day. Tomorrow's the rodeo. Well, the rodeo started, I guess, yesterday, but and so I'll be going tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how it looks because I saw the video of them putting it all together, putting all the dirt and stuff. So I'm just very curious how it looks doing other events there as well.
I guess if you said you're part of the grounds crew, you see, some of the changes that they make at these stadiums from we're doing a monster truck on Thursday, and then we're doing or Friday, and then Saturday we got a soccer game, and then Sunday it's baseball or whatever.
Yeah,
they don't do that, but we got college football this day.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about AT&T Stadium now, but like college football one day, then Cowboys one day, and the monster truck the next week, and I'm thinking, man, they have to change out the field, they have to change out everything.
Yeah,
it's a team of talent.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's a giant group of people, and it's really fun to. I like those time lapse videos. I think mainly for my own sake because I like to see how everything gets put together. Because you see before, oh, I know that field, and then when they start putting all the stuff together, and all of a sudden the dirt comes out, and you're like, holy shit, okay, I get this.
We've done a lot. Not a lot, but we've done some time lapse videos of the fight stuff at Texas Live. So where people go in and they just expect one thing, it's all open, and then all of a sudden when the cage and production and lighting and all that stuff's in there, they're like, oh man, this is cool. And it all comes down, and literally the next day they're running a concert. Or they got some tournament or something, or a taco festival or whatever. And it's like, people are like, man, this was just, but they don't realize how much work. A lot of people just come in, they just, oh, this is cool, blah, blah, but they don't realize how much work is behind the scenes on an event.
Right. Sometimes it's literally up to you're about to start and you're just putting the last thing together, and you're like, in your head, you're like, fuck, we don't have the time.
Yeah.
But then everything comes together. But then afterwards, still another 2-3 hour process of tearing everything down.
Yeah.
And people are like, why aren't you coming to hang out? Like, well,
we gotta still tear this.
Yeah, we're still working.
See that bolt on there? No. Yeah. I gotta unscrew that. That's my job.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's a good experience in Arlington. I think I love being there at Texas Live, and I love the environment, and I love working with the city and working with the staff at Texas Live. Awesome.
I think, you could probably get the Jim Ross in the cage. Not to fight, but he probably could. He was military, SWAT.
Yeah,
I think
he did fight back in the day too.
See,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, Jim did. I think that's when we kind of hit it off, and military and police officer, and and just I think he just genuinely, I mean, he genuinely loves the city of Arlington.
He does.
Like he's not, I know with like people get into politics and for many of the wrong reasons.
Of course.
Well,
that's just unfortunately where America is at this point.
It is. It is what it is, I guess.
You're on one side or the other, and if you're not, then I don't like you, and if you are, then we can hang out. Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, it's just, you don't really truly get to know somebody if they have all the wrong intentions or their intentions are. But with Jim, we've always been friends, even way before he even became mayor of Arlington and stuff. But he truly like loves the city of Arlington, and he always said that. Like he's the one that actually, we have the product, but he helped work with us to get into us to Texas Live.
So cool.
So we got to meet that crew and staff, and here we are.
Yeah, he always says hi to me whenever I see. I saw him last Saturday over at the Hearsay.
Yeah,
his new place.
Oh yeah,
that place is nice.
It's nice.
Super cool inside. Yeah. They got really good drinks, and so. But no, he was there. He was still busy hustling, trying to make sure everything was okay. And
he goes.
That dude's got some energy.
I know. I was like, I need to get some of that energy. But it's good. I mean, but if you stay busy with anything in life, like I'd rather be busy and work with people that are busy than not.
Yeah.
Because it's the people that have nothing going on or nothing or whatever. Those are, if you like are working with somebody or need some help or an employee or whatever, don't go after the people that aren't doing anything.
Yes.
Because there's many reasons why they're probably not doing anything.
What they're doing now, they'll probably still be doing a year from now.
Yeah. And so I try to surround myself and with people that motivate me and that are busy. And then but when your mind's going and you stay busy, you accomplish way more in life.
I love that, and I get that a lot from my friends and even my girlfriends. Like, you have way too much energy.
Yeah.
You're doing way too many things. I'm like, I can't stop. Like, why would I want to stop continuing to do things when, again, first off, you don't know how long you're going to be here. So pack your shit in while you can and like try to make not only your life better, but everybody else's around you. And if you can give people experiences, which is what you have been doing, you've been getting fighters experiences, you're getting fans experiences, like they'll carry those long past before, since you'll meet them. Yeah. Like I think it's the Paul Stanley rule where give somebody their 5 seconds because they might remember it forever, but you might forget it. So
it's you're exactly right. I think too, going back to that, like Antonio, our best friend and ring announcer and stuff.
Yeah, I want to get into that.
He is we'll talk about it, but amazing guy. Yeah. But same thing, like he's got like a lifelong lasting impression. When we do these fights, same thing. If some of these fighters just want to do. They're happy they just want to do it one time, a bucket list thing. Mm-hmm. They're talented, but they may have been a great wrestler and just like, hey, I want to fight one time and get checked off my list. And then a lot of them are like, I want to go to the UFC. Yeah. And so we just create an opportunity for them and it's a memory they'll have for life tell their kids or tell whatever. Right. And it's just a really cool thing for me. Like it's the same when we did the wrestling, seeing guys go to WWE or getting dark matches or at the time or whatever. It was just a cool experience,
right?
For everybody.
Let's get in Antonio because, like you said, he was your ring announcer. I think you also said he helped put fights together and stuff.
Yeah, he's been. So we've been friends for 21 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time. So he came in and Lance Hoyt,
local guy also.
Yeah, he
local pro wrestler for those who don't know.
Yeah, he brought Antonio in and introduced us because he thought Antonio had a good voice. I'll remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, Antonio, we had like this little catwalk production area at our old place, and he came up and he was like, "Hey, Antonio, this guy would like to announce, learn how that." I don't think he had done any event announcing, and at the time we were broadcast on television and we had a lot of stuff going on, so he was kind of like the backup to our main guy, and we were doing Freakers Ball or BFD. Wow. We're doing an event, so you have like a concert, and then in between bands, we do a big wrestling event.
That's awesome.
And then so I was like, we did it in between like Marilyn Manson and this, whatever out at it was like Smirnoff at the time. I was gonna say, I think they always had those out there. They had 50 names for it already.
I always think whatever your name for it is when you grew up. Because mine is Coca-Cola Starplex. So for me, it's always Starplex.
I remember Starplex.
And now it's Dos Equis. So,
is it Dos Equis?
Yeah. But again, like you said, it's had a million names in between.
Well, that's good. Dos Equis is good.
Yeah.
But our ring announcer couldn't make it, and Antonio stepped in, and he never missed a beat since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he's gotten in a motorcycle accident recently, and I think he lost his leg.
Yeah. So January 6th of this year, he was involved with he's on the highway involved in a motorcycle accident, and his story's online too, like some stuff, and we've talked about it on our shows and stuff. But involved with a motorcycle accident, unfortunately, it was terrible. It was about as bad as you can get without passing. And what was a lot of amazing things that came out of the story. Somebody there was a medic that stopped by. No one knew who he was. He just happened to be stopped by on the accident, the scene before everybody got there, and he put a tourniquet on he had a tourniquet in his truck.
Damn.
And he jumped out and he put it on and he yelled at the time, and he was gone.
Yeah. So
we don't know who that guy, but that saved his life at that point. And then when they got to the hospital, he had an amazing team of surgeons that helped him. I mean, he broke so many bones and shattered his pelvis, and he unfortunately lost part of his right leg from the shin down.
Oof.
So below the knee.
Yeah.
So he'd been out for a little bit, but he's one of the strongest people that I know, physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Like he's just, his faith and his strength and his mental toughness is just on another level.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah. And so I think a lot of that, through God and through his beliefs and through his support system, he felt it and he fought all the way through, made it through. He's in ICU for, I think, 4 weeks.
Jeez.
Solid in the ICU. Just every day was, he had so many surgeries, and it was like, he had to have a surgery that, most people be playing out for like 6 months. I got this big surgery. He had like 10 of them in like 2 weeks.
Jeez.
From lungs to, multiple surgeries on his legs to his pelvis to his stomach. He had a lacerated liver. Wow. His lungs badly damaged. Broke almost all his ribs. His collarbone, and just destroyed his leg. Lost part of his leg, and so just a lot.
Right.
But swelling and blood clots and just so many. I was with him almost every day, like with him in the ICU and stuff. And then when he got transferred, I wasn't up there that much because I wanted to be there for him whenever if he woke up or whatever. But just the stuff that he went through, low blood pressure, fevers, and just stuff that you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
And you see all these teams of there, but he had amazing staff and amazing team to help him. But they're all like, dude, he's so physically strong and mentally strong. They're like, that's what helped get him through.
That's awesome.
To get out of there and into the rehab facility that he was there for maybe 2.5 or 3 weeks, and then now he's home.
Right. So there is a GoFundMe for him.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find that?
Yep. So we have a link on our website. They can go to XtremeKnockout.com.
Okay.
On our fight card page, there should be a link down there. We've had it up there so people can donate. I think it's getting close to, I'm not sure how long GoFundMe's are, but or you can go to Antonio XKO on Instagram, and I'm sure they have a link on there, or on XtremeKnockout.com, or you could go to our Facebook page. I believe there's some links on there somewhere. We've had on there multiple times. Yeah. So and they can donate, and we're all going to do May 26th at Texas Live. We're going to do a benefit for him. So I want to start getting together businesses and stuff, and so we'll do an auction, and we'll do proceeds go to help him and help him through his to get through this. So if you don't go on if you don't get a chance to do the GoFundMe, May will be a benefit for him.
That's awesome.
So, and then hopefully he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, back 100%.
Right.
To announce.
That's awesome that you're
I set him these goals. So I was like, hey, you gotta work towards this, but and he's got his goals. He take small steps. Each day's a challenge.
Yeah.
I used to tell the nurses, I'd be leaving the hospital and I'd be like, one day at a time, and they'd be like one shift at a time. So they tell me.
Nice.
And one, so I was like, so he's taking this journey one little step at a time. But mentally, he's already like, you get through stuff and you're like, let's do this, let's do that, So he's such a positive person. If you don't get a chance, or if you get a chance to meet Antonio, or you say hi at the fights or just online, through his Facebook or whatever. Like, he's just a good person.
That's awesome.
Really good person.
Again, like you said, having those people around you on a regular basis is the key to what most people need to be doing in life, is having those positive people around you.
It's unbelievable how amazing and positive this person is. Like, I know him, most people see him. I mean, he's part of the show. He is the show. People come out to see just as much as the fights. They're like, this announcer's, I mean, I think he's one of the best.
I mean, look at Bruce Buffer. People go, a lot of people will watch just for Bruce Buffer.
Just to see him.
Just the point and everything else.
And Antonio's that for us, and I think he's above us. I mean, I think he's one of the best announcers, in the game, and but he's so personable and he's so friendly, and he's, whether you meet him through passing or you meet him through or you're a friend of his. So I know him like, and he's the same, just a great, genuine, just a good person. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him, but he can take any situation. If you're struggling, or if you're having like some bad episodes or bad season in your life, talk to him, and he will find the shining moment out of that whole conversation, and then your mind will just immediately focus on that. Yeah. And you get rid of those whatever bad thoughts, and
it's easy to just have it kind of swirl, all bad things swirl in your brain. Yeah. And especially if you don't talk to anybody about it, like, it's easy to just, that's where it lives. It manifests, like it creates a cancer inside your brain, or like a bomb that you just don't know when it's going to go off. Yeah. But if you're talking to somebody about it, and somebody like Antonio, where they can, like you said, find that, maybe even if it's like the smallest nugget of positivity, that's what you needed to focus on, but you couldn't see it because you're in it.
Yeah. So, you can't. It just lives rent free in your head. Yes. You see all this stuff. It's like, this is stuck rent free in my head, and Antonio will take that. He can take it, and I promise, like, God has a plan, and like as we all move forward in our lives, and everybody's got a direction, but he's got a whole new kind of obviously outlook on life, but like there's a whole new he's just got like a whole new challenge in front of him, and I think he's just got to take that and just do the best with it, and spread the word of just his story and everything, and just get it out there, which is cool. Yeah. Which I'm excited to see him do that. Of course. Like for his next chapter in life, I'm like, dude, this is going to be, amazing. And we didn't have an announcer at the Statler event. My brother did announce the fight, and then, but nobody's going to get in that center ring. Nobody's going to get in that spot until he's ready to come back. Okay. So until he tells me, he's moving on, or he's, wants to not announce, which I don't see that in any foreseeable future, but no one will take that spot until my brother does an amazing job of like getting the crowd hyped up and public speaking. But when it comes time for the official announcements, nobody's in there. So my brother didn't even get in the ring. Oh wow! No, he did everything from the side. Good for him. So maybe April 7th at Texas Live kind of looks like that's the direction we'll go to. But if we can get Antonio out there, of course, whatever he's going to want to do. But if not, it'll be the same. It'll be a show. We'll have a ring announcer, whether it's my brother or we'll get somebody that just announce the fighters' names in this fight brought to you by. But until he's ready, until you're ready to come back, Tony, like nobody's gonna have that spot. So that's awesome that you're keeping that there for him. Yeah. So it'd be cool. Yeah. It'd be really cool. Now, let's go back to the beginning of XKO. You guys aren't like most other MMA companies, because you guys will also, I guess one fighting might be the closest, where it's not just all MMA fights. You guys will have Muay Thai fights. You'll have other kind of martial art showcase fights. Yeah. How did you guys think that that's how you wanted to run a company? Well, we did, started mixed martial arts, and back in the day when we were running, like, I don't think you see it very often now, but like MMA in a ring. Yeah. Pride was in a ring. Yeah. Some of these other organizations, bigger ones, I think Affliction at the time they did it in a ring. Couple, yeah. What you'd see is like sometimes you would see. We always wanted to do Muay Thai fights. Yeah. And as well, just because of the fighters, they need experience. There was nothing going on. We have a square cage, so their footwork's all going to be the same. Yeah. And so we were the first in Texas actually to get Muay Thai fights in the cage. Now you see it other promotions, and it's starting to become more prominent. But my thing was in the MMA, if it was in a ring, there's the safety of the fighters is the most important. So if they get tossed out of the ring or go through the ropes, which we've all seen that happen in boxing sometimes too. But if they come in and land on their head, whatever. So we pitched the safety of the fighters, and then pitched the safety of the fighters. So the MMA guys didn't have to fight in the ring, and then we got Muay Thai in the cage, and it just kind of took off.
Yeah.
And it gives people, it does create more opportunity
Right.
for fighters to be active.
True.
To keep fights. They may have a Muay Thai background, but want to be in the UFC, compete in the UFC. Well, if I can't get them a fight or their opponent drops out, I can get them a Muay Thai fight. They stay active. They stay relevant.
Right.
And I've had a lot of fighters fight for us Muay Thai that are in the UFC.
Right.
One Jeff Neal fought last week on the UFC.
That's right.
And he fought for our championship belt, but he fought Muay Thai for me. He boxed for us, and he fought MMA for XKO.
Yeah.
And so, but people don't know that, they don't. But he stayed active.
Right.
And gave him an opportunity. If nobody wanted to fight him on the regional level, let's get you in a boxing ring. Get you a boxing match. And so he stayed pretty active.
That's good too, because so I had interviewed Travis St. John 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's fighting on the next card in a Muay Thai fight.
Yeah.
And I even asked him, I was like, so what's the changeover to MMA? He's like, well, he trains everything because that is something he would enjoy doing in the future is an MMA fight or more MMA fights.
Yeah.
But again, he's more of a Muay Thai guy. So it is great that you're still allowing people to still stay active, even if it's not an MMA fight.
Yeah.
Because Muay Thai is close, but there's no takedowns. There's no submissions. It's kind of closer to kickboxing for people who don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
Muay Thai.
So Muay Thai, elbows and knees are allowed.
Yeah.
So unlike traditional kickboxing or
Right.
and obviously in Muay Thai, if you don't know, it's all strikes. With mixed martial arts, it's what it is. It's just a mix of
everything.
Different. Mostly wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Obviously, people have taekwondo backgrounds or Muay Thai backgrounds or boxing backgrounds, but the footwork's going to be different. It's going to be different for all of it. But having these guys, if they know they're going into a MMA fight, but they got a Muay Thai background, they train Muay Thai all the time, and their MMA fight drops out, hey, it gives them another opportunity.
True.
If they don't want to take it, they don't have to. It's like, hey, the opportunity's on there.
Yeah.
If you want it, go for it. If not, then
there's always the next fight card.
There's always the next fight card, So it's as long as all parties are happy, I'm happy. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Best interest of everybody.
Of course.
I always say it's the fighter, his opponent, and the fans. If I, as a matchmaker, I thought, okay, well, if this is good for them, and I think it's going to be entertaining for the fans, we'd book it.
Yeah.
And then they're not all like that. Some guys get clipped quick, and it is what it is. But on paper, you try to do your best.
Of course.
For everybody.
You see it in the UFC, you see it in PFL, one championship.
Bellator.
Like you said, Bellator. It could happen. It could end real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I guess this past weekend with the main event, people didn't imagine, 2 minutes in, it'd be done. And, John Jones is the champ.
He comes in, and I thought, my thought was he hasn't fought in years, and he's a heavyweight. I thought he was just going to be a little bit slower, a little bit older, heavier. No, he just put on a clinic, and he made it look like it was easy, the easiest thing. He just went in, just ding, 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 super calm, submitted him, and he's like, I'm the champ. And I was like, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for John. If people don't, he's gonna have, everybody's gonna have people that don't like him or love him. Same thing with Conor and Rousey and all some of the big stars.
Of course. When you get to that level, you're gonna have the split of people do and do not like you. There's
people love to hate you, but if they're watching you, then good. Yeah.
They're still paying to watch you lose.
Watch you lose. You're gonna have it. It's part of life.
Exactly.
Everything. But John Jones went in there and smoked him.
Yeah.
He just went in and was like, ding, 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 easy. I was like, we're all just sitting in our chair. We're actually at Texas Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went out there for, during the pay-per-views, we'll go out there and bring promotional team out there. We'll bring the championship belt out there.
They showed fights there.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, they show fights. So they did, obviously this past weekend was a big one.
For sure.
They'll show the 18th pay-per-view, won't be as big.
That has an Arlington tie to it that he doesn't talk about, but, Kamaru Usman did go to Bowie High School, so...
Oh, yeah.
He was on the wrestling team.
Yeah.
But, they don't really talk about him being from here.
I think he's been to our XKO fights because he trained sometimes over at Fortis.
Yeah.
I believe, and they were talking about it. But this weekend, guy fighting on the UFC, Austin Lingo, fought for us at XKO. He's in the picture, in the cage with Ryan Spann, who's on the fight card. And there's another guy named Jonathan Martinez. He didn't fight for us. He cornered his brother. His brother used to fight for us all the time. Yeah. So, like, every time I see a UFC card, I'm like, oh, that guy's fought on XKO. And this female's fought on, this woman has fought on XKO. And, like, I know somebody on that. Yeah. Almost every single card.
That's awesome, though.
Or they're fighting, like, PFL or Bellator, which is really cool too, because it's another opportunity for people to live their dreams. Yeah. So it's cool for me to see that.
Now, when it comes to female MMA, the evolution's been amazing. I was talking to, I feel so bad. Forgot her name already. Miranda Maverick. I talked to her the other day, and talking to her about the evolution of women's MMA is just fun in general, because she's in it, and she's like the 15th ranked flyweight for the UFC. But you guys, so when did you guys start initially having women fight for you guys? Because I know forever Dana White was like, it'll never happen, because it's not deep enough. Now there's like 4 weight classes, and they're all killers. Yeah,
probably like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Right around the time Ronda Rousey, when she started, she made such a big name, and I think we had like some of these girls that were fighting, like some of the women that were like, maybe amateur fights, and they want to turn pro and stuff. So I remember when we first did our first fight, the girl that lost, so Paige Van Zandt fought locally for us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not us. She fought locally. Okay. And I was always trying to get her on. At the time, like, she had a Facebook. So I used to Facebook message some of these people, and be like, hey, so we went back and forth on her fighting, and this is before she only had like 1 or 2 pro fights in, 3 pro fights in, and I just couldn't match her. And I think at the time she started training in Vegas or New Mexico or wherever she's trained. So I just didn't work out. But the girl that she beat here in Fort Worth was our first female. That was our first female matchup. A girl named Amber Stotzenberger. So she fought a girl named Ashley Allen for our first one. It was at the gym, and when they first came out, the crowd was. Everybody was standing up before the fight even happened. Like, they were just so excited to see this, and 10 years ago. So when you're looking at young kids that were wrestling in high school, female athletes, if they were wrestling in whatever, middle school and high school, 10 years later, if they continued that. That's why it's evolved so much, because there wasn't, you had Gina Carano, and was, I think, one of the very first female stars. She wasn't on a big enough Strike Force, I think, but the platform wasn't as big as the UFC, so a lot of people don't remember. I think more people remember her from her movie, her being in movies, than they do
that in the Mandalorian.
And so she was one of the first real cyborg. I mean, as far as like mixed martial arts concerned,
of course.
Christy Martin was a boxer back in the day, and she was like the first female that was like, but before she even was on the boxing, they were like, I think the promoter was like, no, we don't want this, and it had happened, but it had just evolved so much. I'm so happy to see it. So it's like when you see an opportunity for them to become these major stars just as much as the men, it's awesome.
Yeah, because you're also seeing a lot more female amateur wrestling now happening as well. So like Oklahoma State University, which is to some people like the mecca, them in Iowa are like the mecca for when it comes to amateur wrestling. Yeah. They're actually now having a female amateur wrestling team. Really? Yeah. And they're killing it. They're doing a great job. Iowa's doing the same thing. And you're starting to see it maybe trickle down to high school level as well, because obviously throughout time, women have supposed to be like the daintier sex, and they're not supposed to be, big in the when it comes to the sports. But we've seen the female evolution, like when we look over at tennis, Serena Williams and her sister killing it. Yeah. Golf, I know there's been multiple women that way. When it comes to the female soccer team, they're had to fight to make the same money as the men, even though they're winning gold medals over and over again, and men ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, like, then, of course, you get the Ronda Rousey and on a lower level, Shayna Baszler, even though she helped pave the way for a lot of female MMA competitors, even though she didn't really get the spotlight that she needed to.
Yeah.
And then she's doing the same thing in pro wrestling now. Like, she's absolutely killing it, but her friend Ronda Rousey is more popular because everybody knows her.
Because it's amazing to see. It's just a cool, I mean, we've been in the sport long enough, like, just with MMA, but you see it involved.
Yeah.
But thinking about, like, female pro wrestling, that's been around for a long time.
Right.
So they were created stars on that end, and they're all athletes.
Right.
I mean, they come from athletic backgrounds, and there's a profession. They're all gymnasts, and they're like doing this. So you take these athletes and you give them, whether it was they were a star in tennis or they're a runner in the Olympics or whatever. You have these amazing athletes,
right.
And then now if any of them had a jiu-jitsu background or wrestling background, and you take an athlete that. It just gives them another opportunity to continue on with their professional level, however that is, and I'm glad I'm able to do it with the fights, just because there's just, man, some of our best fights ever at Xtreme Knockout were between two professional athletes, the women, main event, it's like we had a main event at Texas Live, and just phenomenal, and they weren't even supposed to be the main event. They were the co-main, and I knew it was going to be a great fight, but the main event dropped off. One of the guys didn't. I won't get into that, but like, he just whatever. He's never fought for us again.
Okay,
and he never even fought for us that night too.
Wow.
So, but then they stepped up and they just tore the house down.
Yeah,
literally, it was amazing.
Yeah,
I was like, you couldn't have scripted anything better.
Right.
That whole process of all that, I was like, I went to the one guy, I was like, y'all are the main event now because. Or said the main event's off, and then y'all are the main event, and it's way better. It's worked out way better.
Yeah,
happy.
I just love watching the evolution when it comes to the females as well, because any fight card I look at, I'm like, all right, where are the women at? Yeah. Who's fighting? And I get excited because they're fucking killing it. They're doing such a great job.
Well, but we've seen the evolution on male too.
Oh, I mean, just 10 years ago, MMA is not the same MMA that is now.
I mean, you're competing. They're competing again. You're kids that are 10, 12, high school that have been wrestling. That 10 years ago, they're maybe an amazing high school wrestler, and they get into college, and then they started pushing themselves into wrestling because they want to fight in the UFC.
Right.
Or 10 years prior to that, UFC wasn't really mainstream, so they might have done whatever, and then they kind of go off and do, so, and it's just going to keep growing. I mean, you're going to get. At some point, we're going to run into these. I mean, even on the amateur level, there's a lot of amateur fighters.
Yep,
they're good. Yeah, but then you take the best of the best from our regional show, and then they get to the UFC. Yeah. You see it's like you see another level at the UFC, and then same thing with college football. They're like you talk to some of these NFL athletes, and like you take the best of the best college athletes.
Yeah.
And then you stick them in the NFL, and the NFL athletes are still a half a step. Then a lot of them trickle down, and they don't even. So you got these amazing college athletes that get to the NFL.
It just doesn't work out.
Yeah. It's just another speed, just one more speed.
Right.
One more step, and but it's cool to see all that. Football's been around a long time, but with the fights, even they get to that level, and I take some of the best that we've ever had.
Yeah.
And they get up there, and they're doing well, but. They're competing against the best in the world at that point,
It's true. It's like you said, it's just that next gear up that they got to really turn it on.
Got another step.
Some people can, and some people can't.
Yeah, and you see it. I got on local. I've been in enough fights. I can look at somebody or talk to them and just know, because it's you physically have to be on another level, and you have to be on another level mentally. Yeah. It's a mental game.
True.
So. You could take the best. I've seen some of the really amazing athletes, college wrestlers, Division I. Maybe not champions, but talented wrestlers, and they get in there and they freeze because they're used to growing up, and they got in front of the stadiums and stuff, but it gets a whole nother game with the fighting mentally, and it just breaks down. Just nothing ever happens.
Right.
Or jiu-jitsu people that have been going to these tournaments and you're competing, but it's another when you're in front of a crowd or on pay-per-view or whatever. It's just a mental thing, and some people just don't have that.
No. Mm-mm. It is. Yeah. So I like watching think they call it Undisputed. Basically the behind the scenes of like they usually do it for pay-per-view weeks, but it'll be like that week. And I saw recently, I think it was the Australian fights. There was one coach that really puts people like it's fight day. They'll take them in the back. They'll hang out. They'll make the entrance to the cage. Yeah. They'll do the big announcements. The crowd's all like the people from the gym are there. They make a big event out of it, and so that way they're mentally going through the steps. So that way when they do get there, it's not like, oh shit, how many people are here? Oh, these lights are here. All the music's here. Somebody's announcing me. Like, because it's just like being in a fight. You have to go through those steps. You have to go through different situations to where, okay, I'm here now. I've been here before. I know what to do, as opposed to, oh, I haven't been in this situation before. Like, you freeze up, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, it can be exhausting.
Yeah,
like just like
that adrenaline dump.
You just get out there and you're just exhausted, you know. And I mean, we just grew up in pro wrestling and growing up around the gym and then doing boxing and stuff like. And seeing it and doing shows and stuff, even when I was doing on a small level, like it was like, you'll wear your ass out just what's running through your mind, you know. And before you know it, your heart rate starts to get up, and then you get gassed out 2 minutes in, and you got to go 10 or whatever it is, and it's like that's tough, but. It's just stuff just lives rent free in your head. I can't get that on my head.
Hopefully people take it and they're like, okay, I messed up here. Yeah. I need to learn, do better next time, and then hopefully they do better next time.
But just with you try to give them like, the whole idea of our show is to help give them a platform.
Of course.
And we try to strive to do the best and be the best that we can be, but we also understand, hey, it's a platform for these guys to get on Bellator, PFL. Like I know that, I know that. And people ask me all the time, they're like, "What? So it's like a minor league or it's amateur?" I'm like, if you fight for us and you're 10-0 and you get signed by the UFC, you're 10-0.
True.
Like,
it's not like you start over.
No. Yeah. It's and they're like, "Oh, I get it." It's like they're professional fight. Now we do have amateur fights too,
of course.
But they're professional fights. So like you go to Bellator. Like, we've had a ton of fighters in Bellator, and a ton now, in, like you said, almost every UFC show, which is almost every weekend. They run maybe miss one weekend of the month. I know somebody that's fought on the XKO that's on the card. Yeah. And it's so super cool. But, of course. Again, it's, it's another level. It's cool seeing them there.
Well, it's like you mentioned, so you're helping each other. As much as you're wanting to put on a great show and really put a great card together for the fans and for everybody else, you're also, like you said, giving them that platform that they can show off their talent and really, because it's kind of just getting the reps in. I mean, of course, being in a fight is not just getting reps in, but you're really making sure, okay, I'm against this kind of fighter, and he's maybe more of a wrestler guy, and I'm more of a striker, and so you're trying to figure out how to work around that, and so when they do hopefully get to Bellator, PFL, UFC, there can be a better fighter because they've been through those kind of fights and those kind of wars.
Well, even like interviews and like, I mean, now it's changed a little bit because with social media and like your phone and your phones and stuff can record some of the best stuff, and you can put together an amazing video from your phone. But at the time, like some of these people have never done an interview before or never really done, so they need that experience too, because you have to be marketable. True. The UFC is not gonna. They'll pick guys up, but you have to be marketable. Yes. You have to know how to talk in an interview and talk to in front of the camera, and you have to. I get it. You're gonna freeze up and stuff, but we try to give them that aspect too. So it's like, okay, well, at least I did a promo before. At least I was, I did some media stuff, and so I'm more comfortable when you're hit. So it's all of it. But with social media now, it's like, can you do anything on social media?
Some people are still not very good at it. I've talked to
There's a lot. I'm not very good at it at all.
I've talked to some. Well, I'm not. I feel like I'm not great on the social media part when it comes to talking to people. Yeah. I could obviously do that shit all day. But because I do the backstage interviews for Pele, and so some of those guys aren't still that great at it. But again, it's getting those reps in, doing it over and over again, because you're not going to get better overnight not doing it. So, but some of the fighters are the same way because they're so focused on just wanting to be a better athlete, wanting to be a better fighter, that they don't think about the other part of oh, I need to be marketable as
Yeah.
well. And there's no managers. Like, there's managers in pro wrestling that could talk for you.
Yeah.
There's not managers in MMA that can talk for you.
Yeah, it's your just practice.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Practice in front of the mirror. I don't know, your winning,
Exactly.
your win speed. Conor McGregor, like, I mean, he was like with MMA, but it goes back to Muhammad Ali, like the greatest talking, and like, so you have that aspect, but it built fights, it built up the fights, it hyped the fights, and then you got like guys like Mike Tyson that was just like his whole presence was just intimidating and scary. You know, he just people would lose the fight on the stare down before the boxing match even happened. Like they already lost.
Yeah.
They lost the stare down. So, you know, and Mike Tyson was such an intimidating person, so he had that aspect of him, you know. But you run into guys, and I think you have to do it all. You have to be a little bit to be great.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have, because if you're not great at some of these interviews or whatever, then you're not going to get out there in front of the fans as much. Or you may not get a movie role.
Right.
Like, I was telling my dad the other day, it's some of these. I said I can imagine sometimes, like I'm doing it on the local level, and dealing with some of these guys can be a pain in the ass, men and women. It's just a local level.
Yeah.
Just I couldn't imagine doing it when you're dealing with celebrities.
Right.
So they're amazing fighters,
Yeah.
athletes, and they're also celebrities.
Right. They're getting stopped at the supermarket.
So they may be doing commercials and then movies and stuff like this. So, but the UFC creates these superstars and they become celebrities. So not only if you're matchmaking with you have the fight aspect of it, just a fighter. Yeah. But then you have to think about this person's a superstar celebrity, and you have to kind of deal with that as well, which is just you know, take the celebrity. Imagine just dealing with celebrities for movies or whatever. It can probably be a lot, and then you take that, put them together. NFL athletes, of course, like there's some big, you know, Major League Baseball, and you know, they all have them. You know, you have, not only are they amazing baseball players, but they become these icons,
giant
superstars, just giant superstars.
Yeah, like Aaron Judge has a massive contract now. Yeah. Obviously, he had a great home run record last season, but you know, I'm not saying he's not a great player, because obviously behind the plate he's fantastic. He does pretty good on the field, but it's again more that side than it is, you know, is actually playing.
So just it's wild to think about sometimes, you know, but it's all part of being in sports.
True. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't know how much you have to deal with people's agents at the regional level, but like you said, if you're trying to deal with Conor McGregor, could you just get Conor on the phone, or do you have to go through his person, and then he can be like, okay, Conor could talk to you now?
Oh, you probably could his first few fights.
Right. Not now, because he just wrapped Roadhouse and with.
Well, now it's like,
Jake
okay, you got to
Gyllenhaal
talk to my agent's agent. Yep. Like, what?
Yeah.
How many agents? My agent's agent. I'm like, dang it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Give me the list. I'll just call one by one.
Yeah. I'll have my person call them one by one.
Agent. Okay, now I got to the coach. Now I got to the...
Right.
Yeah, you gotta... Honestly, though, you want to try, like, some of the people, you know, most of them we deal with coaches. Some have managers. Yeah. Sometimes I just deal with the guys that have been in it for a long time. I just deal with them directly, you know, but you always want to try to deal with the right person.
Of course.
You know, I wouldn't... If I deal with a fighter and I don't know that they switch teams or they have a manager, well, then I say, hey, I'll go that route.
Right.
But you also deal with coaches that are like, yeah, and then they don't tell their fighter.
Don't relay the
message. And they don't communicate.
Yeah.
And then you get a fighter. It's like, I'm not. You know, they're wanting to fight, but then the coach set something up, and then he gets distracted, and a week goes by, and then we're like thinking this, you know, this is going to happen with contracts being sent out, and then. It happens a lot.
Oh, I imagine it does. Yeah.
Communication is key.
Yes.
And a lot of people
not good at it.
No.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm just like, just answer my text message.
Yeah.
Call me.
Don't leave me on red.
Yeah,
just not a hard concept.
That's odd.
Yeah.
You cry a little bit and then you move on with your day. You're like, oh, red.
So, what fights on this next card are you really looking forward to? I mean, obviously all of them, but which ones do you think are really going to be the bangers for them?
There's two fights. I mean, there's multiple fights, but the championship fight, both of these guys, Victor Reyna's fought for us before, fought in Contender Series a few times. He's been around a long time. He usually came up the same kind of same weight class, same kind of era as Jeff Neal did.
Nice.
Kevin Holland, some of those guys that fought with us. And I've known him for a long time. But he's still got, you know, great shape and ready to go. And that'll be the main event. He's fighting Dmitry Ivy, and he's a UFC veteran.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he fought a few times, and obviously was released. So that's how he's fighting for us. But incredible athletes.
Right.
But I'm excited because I used to match all the fights.
Yeah.
The whole time, and then and then I had an amateur matchmaker doing the amateur stuff, and then we brought another person on board that has been in the fight game for a long time, and they've been matching the fights for about a year and a half, pretty much by themselves. And then the last show, we did the January show together, and I started getting that itch back, and so I was able to help put some of these fights together for this card. So there's a lot of them that I'm looking forward to, and then there's a lot of them that, you know, I've seen these fighters. They're making their like debut with us.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen them on like tape or like seen them online or whatever, but not in the XKO cage. So we booked a lot. There's a lot.
That's awesome.
You always try to book way more because of
dropouts and
injuries, and that that happens from this level. Not as much in the UFC, but it happens at the UFC.
It does.
I mean, Derek Lewis, you know, was supposed to be the main event a few weeks ago, and the night of, you know, he didn't fight.
Yeah.
You know, so you run into that stuff.
Of course.
So you always overbook the show.
Or people don't make weight, or when you got to switch things around. That happened also recently with the UFC.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Was that with Holland and those guys?
Yeah.
That all got switched
and
out.
The top 3 fights, they had to
all got
change everything
switched around.
Yeah.
They're all cool with it. I mean, there's money involved when you're dealing with that much money.
True.
Okay. You have more money to like make things actually happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
If stuff starts to get switched around at this point, does it make sense sometimes? But whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it may not to them.
True.
So it's a little bit harder for me to switch stuff around like that.
Yeah.
So you always have to book more fights.
Yeah.
But it should be a solid, like Texas Live, like I said, it's about the environment. And when you get out there, these guys feed off that. Sometimes they fight way better.
Of course.
You know, and I think we're just looking at a really good card. We have an amateur fight. Our first, not our first amateur title, because we've had some female amateur title fights in the past. But this kid, he's good, man. He's fought first few times. He's 3 times, I believe, and he's pretty talented. He's just fun to watch. Yeah. Soccer player and got a good story behind him. Okay. So but he's tough.
What's his name?
He's tough. Jesus Lopez.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's fighting on the main event on the undercard for a title, and his opponent switched up. He's supposed to fight another guy that got switched, and we got another kid that's pretty good, local kid, amateur. Yeah. So that'd be good. That'd be good.
I always, when it comes to the UFC or any other fights, I always love watching the prelims almost as much as I love watching the main card. Because, of course, you for the most part know everybody that's on the main card.
Yeah.
But when it comes to prelims, like, those dudes, it's like going to a concert. If you aren't there for the opening bands, are you there really for the music? Because those people that are opening up at some point will be your headliners.
Yeah.
So I always love watching it. Plus, a lot of times you get better fights somehow. Not somehow, but sometimes the fights on the prelims are better than they are in the main event. Not because you want it to be that way. It just happens. Again, it's the fight game.
They may be a little bit more hungrier. They may be a little bit more... have a little bit more at stake. Maybe it's financially, or whether it's their first fight, or it's just trying to keep a job. Maybe it's their last fight and they lost 2 or 3 or whatever they got on their contract, and they're like, I have to win this in a spectacular fashion, or I'm getting cut.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, but it's at the end of the day, it's that's why some of these fights are just amazing because they're so. Conor McGregor's one of the perfect examples. Somebody that was like, when he was really at the top of his game. He was struggling. He was struggling in life, and he talks about it openly. You know, like just him and his wife. And then we've seen the documentary on Netflix or whatever, and he's living in his apartment. And he's going to train, but he was so hungry. Yeah. And then when he got to that level, he's super talented. But he got to that level, and he's got all the money in the world, you know, and he's still good. But
of course.
But what I'm saying is that initial drive and that initial passion and that initial, this is going to change my life.
Right.
He got past all that. Yeah. So what's the next level? Hey, I want to become a 2 division champion or whatever, and I get all that too. But you know, maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's why, like on this level, it's not really a money thing at all. Some guys, maybe it helps pay some of their stuff, but they're not making a career fighting on a regional level. You make your career Bellator, main card, UFC, maybe winning a PFL tournament.
Right.
You know, that's where you start making big money.
Or even
Sponsors.
winning like the Dana White Contender Series, because
Then you get a
contract.
Yeah.
Or even getting on the Ultimate Fighter or something like that.
Yeah.
So
We had a few fighters from our show get on Ultimate Fighter and get signed contracts, you know, on that. Female and male, but we've been doing it for so long. I've seen guys men and women get into the UFC, fight, and then they end their career, or they retire, or they lose out, or whatever, or they win a couple. And there's a bunch that was like started with us. I've seen them do their whole career, and now they're out of the UFC, just starting families and just doing a whole new businesses and just living their life.
Yeah, being coaches,
Being
opening
coaches,
gyms.
yeah.
It's always great to see what they do. A lot of them have tried to figure out what to do while they're in the UFC, because again, they have that spotlight and they're like, okay, I try to do something here. Yeah. And then once they get out, it's like they can kind of do whatever the hell they want.
Well, and I relate to like sports, you know, whether you're in the league, NFL for a few years, and you know, I think the average NFL career is like 4 years or something, 3 or 4 seasons, and
unless
then
you're a freak like Tom Brady and somehow you
22.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So basically, the goal is don't eat tomatoes and you'll be fine. Yeah,
I don't think he eats bread either, right? No,
probably not.
Yeah, he said something about like you did a Subway commercial, I think, and he's like, I never eat bread, or you did like something. I think Tom Brady. I'm sure he eats bread. He's a human, right?
I don't know.
He might not be.
He may not be human. Yeah, I mean, look at him. He's still
figured it out.
Yeah.
Glad we figured it out.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody figured it out.
Amazing. He's the greatest.
It's just I think for him, it's like having the great mind, because like Tony Romo was a great quarterback. Too bad the team around him couldn't do anything with him or for him. Obviously, I think that goes back to the owner, general manager, and whatever else title he wants to have at the time. But you saw him when he became a broadcaster. He just looked at somebody moving a half an inch, like, oh, they're doing this play. And they're like, wait, what? Yeah. And then sure enough, and then now he's making way more money being a broadcaster than
he's amazing.
Yeah.
He sounds good.
Yeah.
Like, he just sounds good.
He's a fortune teller.
And he knows.
Yeah.
He didn't call he calls all the plays, you know, but like, usually when he calls them, when he says, okay, here, look out for this is what they're about to do, they do it.
Yeah.
Almost every time.
And people are like, well, how did he know that?
Yeah.
He's been doing this for a long time.
Tom Brady,
but
Tom Brady would be amazing.
Once he decides if he wants to, you know, continue with his career or not, or come out of retirement again, then make that boatload of money, then he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. But he's still got any option he truly wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, if Tom Brady if Tom Brady said, all right, I want to come back, I would put him over any quarter. Well, Patrick Mahomes is pretty dang solid.
He's very solid.
But he would top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. Even if he came back. I would pick him in the top 5.
Even on the worst team. Like if he went to the Jets or something like that.
Yeah. I'd pick Tom Brady to be my quarterback. Yeah. I'd pick him top 5 for sure.
Just back the truck up, do a 1-year contract, you'd be good.
Yeah, good. But if he doesn't want to come back, cool.
Yeah, he'll call from the booth and it'll be good.
But what's crazy is some of these guys, like you talk about Aaron Rodgers, and some of these guys are like leaving, like, man, they're done. And
did he actually make his decision after his 4 days quiet?
I think I know they gave the Jets. The Jets gave or the Packers gave him permission to talk to the Jets. Okay, that's the last I saw.
Gotcha.
I just saw that on the news thing when I was at the gym.
I was gonna say that's the only time I know what's going on anymore. Is like
I saw the ESPN news where you got like all the stuff going on. Like, somewhere in there I saw Aaron Rodgers talks to the Jets, or was talking to, or they gave I think the Jets. Yeah, the Jets. They gave him a. Packers said it's okay to talk.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I saw that.
I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah.
His episode with Joe Rogan, I think, was great because you kind of get somewhat of a insight into his brain. Which he's a funny dude.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah. He did some Barstool Sports stuff, and he's pretty good. But some people are like, you know, you're gonna have haters, whatever. They're like, oh man, he's done. He's 38. Right. Play 7 more years, and you're Tom Brady's age. Right. Like some people's career is only 7 years. Right. You know, so he has another 7. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, different type of quarterback too. So he's true. I mean, he's taken
a lot of concussions,
a lot of hits, and a little bit more. And Tom Brady was just so good at just like, he moves like just one little bit, and this guy's flying back this way and flying this way. You know, like where Rodgers scramble a little bit more and he extends plays, and where Brady, you know, he's like, I'm thinking of Brady recent years, not Brady when he was first got into the league. Maybe he was more mobile then. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, as you get older, you unfortunately do slow down a little bit, but you know, at that point, you're smarter as a player, so. You do have to be like Bruce Lee, a little more fluid, like water. So you see a guy coming, you kind of move a little bit, just you kind of
know it and they feel it. Same thing with the fights, the timing.
Yeah,
timing is everything, and they just read it.
Yeah,
like the really great athletes, boxers and stuff, they just know and they can feel certain things, and then just like it's amazing to see.
Yeah, they just see somebody flex or put their foot in one place, like okay, I know what's coming next, and it does, and they just get out of the way. I've
seen, you know, you got. Man, at a local level, I've seen some of the craziest stuff, but I'll be ringside, you know, and some of these coaches that are amateur, good at coaching amateurs, and then some of them just don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have a lot of experience. Right. So just start off, right? So you get one team over here and a team over here, and the coach is yelling, telling his fighter what to do.
Right.
He's screaming it. Jab, jab, cross, kick, circle out.
Yeah.
And he's screaming it. So the guy's jab, jab, cross, circle out. And the whole time I'm like thinking like that, and then I'm just looking at the other guy going, he knows what he's about to do.
Yeah, I think that all the time when they're yelling stuff out.
Yeah, just, hey, circle out, do this. They all know. Like, this guy knows this guy. If he's not zoned into his coach, and he's listening, but not so much. I mean, they like some of these guys. They have like codes and setup, and they're like, hey, run this drill, run this, whatever. I get that, but some of the experience is like, all right. Leg kick, circle out. Do this, circle out. And I'm thinking, we all know in the arena what's about to happen. Unless the fighter doesn't listen, and I've seen that a lot too.
Oh, I imagine.
Where they're just not listening, and they're just zoned. They're just so zoned out or gassed out, or they're tired, and nothing's processing anymore.
Yeah, it's all autopilot at that point.
Yeah, autopilot. Yeah. The coach is just screaming at them to do something, and they just don't do it.
Doesn't work out. So,
that sucks. It's like a relationship. Just yelling at you to do something, you don't do it, and then get in trouble.
It didn't work out.
Yeah. Get in trouble in the long run.
That's every day for me.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So we have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place. What is your favorite pizza place?
Ooh, good call. I would say Zalat.
Okay, I haven't had them yet.
Pizza.
I hear a lot of good things though.
Yeah, as far as just like just a good pizza, like a go-to pizza. If you're gonna watch the Super Bowl or you're having friends over, Zalat Pizza's good, man.
Okay.
And they have a elote.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and they have a buffalo ranch chicken.
Ooh, I like everything you just said.
Yeah,
yeah,
good. They're the only ones I know that has like this elote pizza.
I think I've had elote pizza once. It wasn't them, but it was
good.
No, it was Cane Rosso. I think they had it.
Cane Rosso's good too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was good. But I was just thinking like right off in this area. There's lots off of 7th.
Okay.
But they're good. I always recommend that to like anybody that says, hey, if they're, because they're all over the place.
Right. Yeah, they got one in Arlington now too. So.
Toppers Pizza's pretty good too.
I've heard about Toppers, but I just don't think I've been there yet.
Toppers is good.
Okay.
Zalat I've had a Zalata pizza. That was bad. All right. No, but they're good for like, Toppers is usually a late night pizza. Tastes better.
Okay.
If you had a few drinks and stuff. Toppers is good, but Zalat is a go-to.
Nice.
If I can order any pizza from anywhere, it's going to be Zalat.
Okay. Yeah, I need to go try them.
Yeah.
Now, if people wanted to find out more about the next event, the fights, buy tickets, if they're not there live, how do they see it otherwise, and how do they do all the things?
Oh, yes. Start, if you follow us on social media, it's just at Xtreme Knockout. There's no E at the beginning. Yeah. So just on Instagram, we got all the updates at Xtreme Knockout, Instagram and Facebook. XtremeKnockout.com has all the information for the event, how to get tickets. You can ticket the full fight cards on there with all of our fights, all of our our past results, all of our former champions. Like pretty much you can. It's all in one, like on our website. Yeah. It's got everything.
Your entire history.
Just XtremeKnockout.com. So we broadcast live pay-per-view on XKO.tv.
Okay.
So the night of, like, if you can't make it, or you're in or you're out of town or whatever, you just pull it up on your phone, XKO.TV, and you can purchase the pay-per-view and watch it live.
Nice.
And then, or, come out to Texas Live.
Yeah.
Hit Texas Live up for tickets, too. You can hit them up.
There you go.
And then they'll contact me, and that'd be good
Nice.
for us. And, hey, all these people are asking us for tickets.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good. That's exactly what I wanted.
But yeah, XtremeKnockout.com or follow us on Instagram. And we're in Arlington. We love it.
Yeah.
And we're going to rock out April 7th and May 26th.
There you go.
Our back-to-back at Texas Live. And we'll have Antonio's benefit show there. If you don't, if you want to ever see one of the best announcers, I truly believe he's one of the most amazing announcers. He'll make his comeback, and you got to come see him. Or see, we got a bunch of stuff on YouTube with Antonio announcing too.
Right.
Just Xtreme Knockout on YouTube, and you can see some of the older fights.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I look forward to the next event because I got to see you guys now at Texas Live.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You're in it now. You're
I'm
part of the
in it.
XKO family.
Yeah.
You gotta be there. Thank you.
No problem.
Who would have known it all would be gone tomorrow? As I said it wouldn't happen again, but what do I know?
Thank you so much to Thomas Bussey with XKO. Again, Friday, April 7th at Texas Live. Make sure to go out and see XKO's next event. It is it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be out there. Again, as you heard, I haven't been to a show since they were at Billy Bob's, and I was just so impressed by the way they do their shows and how big they've gotten. It's been it's super exciting to watch a growth like that. So, you know, I also do another podcast, in case some of you do not know. It is called Bruisers. That is BREWSERS. I also talked to Travis St. John, who I mentioned a couple times on this show, as you heard. I talked to him on there, and it's such a fun interview. He's going to be fighting on this card, and I look forward to watching him fight. So it's nice to talk to fighters before, and then watching them live. It's a completely different process, but it's so much fun. But also thank you to Said the People with their song Simple, which you just heard. And on top of the show, you heard Bella from Avon Park. We're trying to promote more local music for the people who are making it, because they need a spotlight, and I want to help provide that for them. We're working on some other things with more music, so look forward to that in the future. But while you're listening to our show and local music, every Monday is trivia night over at Dr. Jekyll's at 7 p.m. And then every Monday is open mic comedy at 1851. Sign up at 7:40. Show starts at 8. And then every first Tuesday at Blitz Lounge is their karaoke night. It starts at 11 p.m., but you can enter for a chance to win $200. Every Wednesday at Jambo's Barbecue, you can catch UTA Jazz Night from 5:30 to 7:30. Also, every Wednesday is Trivia Night over at Division Brewing. That is from 7 to 9 p.m. So while you're out doing all the things, make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and go rediscover your city. Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.